Are you one of those people who replays their entire workday the minute your head hits the pillow, or you wake up in the middle of the night and suddenly you're really worried about how to get everything done the next day on your never-ending to-do list? Well, if you feel like you've tried absolutely everything and you just want your brain to shut up but nothing is working, then this video is for you. You might be missing a crucial step in actually turning off your brain at night. I'm a sleep coach, and I'm going to share with you how I've helped myself and a lot of overwhelmed, burnt out professionals like yourselves to finally break that cycle of restless nights and those endless racing thoughts. So let's dive straight in. The first thing you need to know about overthinking and how to stop overthinking at night is you cannot fix the problem in the moment. So what I mean by that is you just can't force yourself to stop thinking while it's happening. So while you're lying there, no matter how hard you try, you just can't tell your brain to shut up. And actually, the more you try to fix the problem in the moment, the worse it gets. And the longer you lie awake, the more you're worried, and that just creates this endless cycle. So the first thing you need to understand is that you can't think your way out of this situation, because thinking is actually what got you into the situation in the first place. This is very much based on science as well, because there is this kind of famous saying, if I told you don't think about a pink elephant, immediately a pink elephant will pop into your head and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't just not think about it, because that's how our brain works. So we need a slightly different approach when it comes to overthinking at night. We don't need more techniques to deal with the situation at night. We need to address the underlying problem first and then prevent it happening in the first place. And then from there's some techniques and things you can try. When you wake up in the middle of the night, you are likely waking up from a dream. A few seconds ago, you were in what we call REM sleep, and that's where your brain is the most active. Actually, it's as active as if you were awake, but it's also the least rational. So your subconscious at that point is very active. It's producing a lot of realistic images that you would immediately question during the day, if you were flying around somewhere. But at night, it seems completely normal to you. So when you wake up, your brain is still in this dream mode. You are just coming out of it. You have a lot of irrational thoughts, and they will seem completely plausible to you, which is very difficult to pull yourself out of that spiral and get back to sleep easily. So you need to understand that you are basically, your brain at that point in the night is very irrational. You need to stop trying to fix that overthinking problem when you're kind of half asleep and very sensitive to those irrational thoughts and fears in the first place. If we can't fix the problem at night, what do we do? So the second thing that I think is going to be a huge game changer is processing your thoughts and worries before you actually get into bed. You need to start dealing with those thoughts and those fears and the problems that you're trying to solve during the day instead of waiting until nighttime. The problem is that many of us are constantly on the go. Let's say you have a really busy workday, you maybe have a family or other responsibilities. You're constantly doing things, right? You're never really slowing down. And even when you are resting, you are maybe watching TV, scrolling on your phone. You're not giving your brain time to actually process the day and process those thoughts and information that is constantly coming in. When you're going to bed, when you're lying down, it's finally, silent around you, and then your brain takes over and it starts processing the day. So you're thinking about conversations you've had, about arguments you've had with your partner, or things you didn't get done at work, or worries, but also positive experiences, right? So all of this is being processed, and that's completely normal, right? That is how our brain is supposed to work. So before you go to sleep, you are going to have a lot of different thoughts that are kind of random, and that's completely normal. It's also about accepting that your brain is designed to do that. It only really becomes a problem when you get sort of sucked in and they keep you awake. So that's because you feel like you need to solve a particular problem right there and then in the moment, either as you're going to sleep or as you're waking up in the night. To avoid this, you really need to give your brain several breaks during the days. These brain breaks, they can look very simple. For example, just looking out the window in your office for a few minutes and just letting your mind wander. If you can, get up, go outside for a few minutes, even just a short walk around the block, or anything that doesn't involve any kind of stimulation. So not listening to music or watching anything, really just sitting there with your thoughts or walking around and kind of taking in your surroundings, and just observing what's going on around you. So that's almost like a type of meditation, and it really helps your nervous system to slow down and often makes you more creative as well. You know, it's why we have these great ideas and thoughts in the shower, because that's a place where there is no external stimulation or information coming in, so our brain gets some space to process and to make those connections to actually solve problems. So if you had a really, really busy day and you just didn't get a second to yourself, just take 5-10 minutes, even before bed, just slow down your thoughts. And we can all find a few minutes, even with the busiest schedule. And I know it's difficult, but take this time to just sit quietly, observe your surroundings. You can do a breathing exercise, or if you start having a lot of thoughts, then just take a piece of paper, whatever you have, and just start writing it down. Write down what comes to your mind, because this will really help you process the day before you actually get into bed. And then that also signals to your body that these problems can be dealt with another time, another day. I've written it down, I've dealt with what I can deal with now, and I will solve that problem the next day. So you can kind of relax and come back to them anytime. The second thing is just improving your sleep quality in general, and to avoid those nighttime awakenings, because we talked about processing your thoughts ahead of time and, you know, to avoid them popping up at night and taking over your night. But more importantly, you need to create a sleep routine that helps you avoid those nighttime awakenings in the first place. Because if you're sleeping through the night, then you can't overthink at 3 a.m., right? It sounds simple, but many people skip this step of actually working on improving your sleep quality, and they go straight to the techniques and trying to fall asleep again, when they really need to address the underlying issue of why they're awake in the first place. So I have a video on, you know, how you can reset your entire sleep routine in 5 steps over here, and this will really help you address the root cause of your sleep problems and start with the foundations of sleep health and building that sustainable routine. Now, there's nothing wrong with waking up at night. In fact, we cycle through multiple sleep stages at night, and every cycle that we have ends with a short awakening, maybe a few seconds. But usually this is so short that we don't remember it the next morning, and we actually think we slept through. So sometimes we wake up and we are conscious, but we might need the bathroom, or we feel hot under the blanket, or maybe we got woken up by some noise or light. And there could also be, of course, underlying health issues, physical pain, hormonal changes, menstrual cycle, or an actual sleep disorder. So what I'm saying is that waking up at night is not always a problem, and overly obsessing over the fact that you have just woken up and getting frustrated is only making things worse. So you need to listen to your body. If you feel like something is wrong or it's happening regularly, then obviously see a doctor. We've talked about how can you avoid overthinking before it even happens, and how can you avoid these nighttime awakenings and improve your sleep quality, so that really it becomes more of a rare occurrence that you wake up or that you are overthinking. So let's say you are suddenly awake, want to avoid falling into this overthinking cycle and being awake at night. So what do you do in the moment? So this is where a lot of the typical techniques come in. But what I want you to understand is, like I said, it's completely normal to wake up. So the first thing you need to do is just nothing. Basically, if you wake up at night, don't get up, don't look at the clock, because again, you will then think about, oh, what time it is, how much time I have slept already, and how much time I still have left. And then you start that overthinking cycle. So don't look at the clock unless you really need the bathroom. Obviously, get up, but just lie still. Accept that you're awake. There's nothing wrong with this. And you've just simply completed a sleep cycle, and maybe you've woken up because there was a noise, so it was a little bit hot, and you can easily fall asleep again. So it's really about just accepting it in the moment, the fact that you are awake. And then if there are any thoughts about work or anything else that comes up, just simply observe those thoughts. So don't try and fight it, but what you can say is something like, oh, I'm thinking about this work meeting. Well, that's not so important right now. I can worry about that tomorrow. You're basically observing yourself thinking about something and then moving on, which is a very common mindfulness technique, but extremely helpful. It does take some time to do that successfully, but it does help a lot because you're basically just accepting that you're having this thought and then saying, okay, I'm having this thought, this is what's happening, and then moving on from that. And then if you really struggle, or if there's really a lot of thoughts in your head at that time, just again, grab a piece of paper, journal, telling your brain that you'll deal with it in the morning, and just accept that you won't solve this problem right now. That's the biggest thing. You will not solve a problem in the middle of the night. And actually, by sleeping, you are more likely to solve the problem the next day, because within REM sleep, you are making connections and you're using the creative side of your brain to connect some of the information that you already have from previous experiences, and connecting them to whatever problem you're trying to solve. So it's better for you to just go back to sleep, because you'll likely feel like you have a solution the next day. If you're still struggling, and we all do, let's say after 20-30 minutes, just get up, distract yourself with something, do something relaxing, enjoyable, just take your mind off things, and don't worry about like not sleeping or the fact that you are awake. Just enjoy that time and just do something relaxing. And then when you get back into bed, hopefully you will feel a bit more calm, relaxed, and you can try again. The most important thing here is really to accept that you are awake. That means you might get less sleep. That means you might feel a bit tired the next day, but our bodies are designed to bounce back. They are very resilient. So a night of bad sleep is not going to ruin your day all of a sudden. It's important to not let these negative thoughts take over. And I know that's difficult, because especially when you are sleep deprived, you are going to find it more difficult to regulate your emotions. And yes, there will be an impact, but actually our bodies are designed to be quite resilient. And if you have, let's say, an important meeting or presentation, the adrenaline in your body will make sure that you are focused and that you are delivering, even if you haven't slept. And then after that, you typically feel very tired, very exhausted once that has washed over you. So that's really what has helped my clients as well. Just moving on, accepting that you've had a bad night, and just focusing on the future and the day ahead, and just taking it step by step. Here are my final thoughts and takeaways on how to stop overthinking at night. So first, don't try and fix the problem in the moment. You just can't think your way out of that problem. Address the issue during the day. So give your brain some breaks, make sure you process your thoughts and worries before getting into bed. Create a healthy sleep routine that helps you sleep deeper and better, so that you can avoid those frequent nighttime awakenings in the first place. And if you do wake up, don't worry, it's completely normal. Just relax, accept that you're awake, observe your thoughts and feelings, write them down if needed, or get up and take your mind off of things for a while before getting back into bed. Don't see being awake as a problem, just see it as a part of life. It happens and there is nothing to worry about. But if nothing works and you are still struggling with overthinking, racing thoughts, anxiety at night, make sure you see a specialist, because there are many physical but also mental health disorders that can be the underlying cause for this. For example, one of my clients, Alex, figured out that his frequent nighttime awakenings and lying in bed overthinking was actually related to a childhood trauma. So his dad would send him back to bed every time he did something wrong, to think about, what he did wrong. So the bed became associated with guilt, shame, and having to solve a problem before being allowed to go to sleep. But this is something he sort of realized himself. I'm not a therapist, so this was not something that I treated or tried to resolve, but he just uncovered it, during our one-on-one sessions and the reflection. So if you are having any similar problems and, some mental health concerns, definitely go and see a specialist. But what I'm seeing is especially a lot of people who have a busy life, maybe a little bit burnt out by their work, just have a very active mind. A lot of these things can really help you. Just having this shift in mindset of trying to fix a problem in the moment is a huge thing. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you are struggling with overthinking at night and if this has helped you, or if you have any questions or anything else that you want me to cover in future videos. So thank you very much and sleep well.